So, hello, ladies and gentlemen, warm welcome. It's great to have you here today for our workshop. I hope you had yesterday a good party after the discussion panels and so on. Today we have to work. We have a lot of tasks you have to do, I have to do, and I want to split our topic in two parts. Today I want to speak with you about what it takes to become a leader. And the next step, we had yesterday a lot of being a leader and some attitudes and skills and so, but today we want to part it. So, yesterday you have heard a lot of leadership definitions. I hope you remember. Leadership is not only leading of people, employees. Leadership means additional what? If you remember yesterday? Pardon?
The ability to communicate an inspiring vision.
Great. Anything else? You have it?
Motivating their employees.
Motivating. Very great.
Manage yourself.
Manage yourself. Very interesting. Very good.
Give directions to some certain extent, and also give the ability to have a holistic approach and view on the entire overall goal.
Okay. Let them grow. Energize them. Be energized, please.
Inspire the ones you're leading, and know that you're there for them. They're not there for you.
Yes, you have been together. And you, please?
Being a listener and providing necessary ideas.
And you?
I think you have to be exceptionally innovative to be a leader.
Innovative, vision, creativity, power for change.
To go above and beyond the call of duty.
Pardon?
To go above and beyond the call of duty.
Very good.
Challenge people to bring them to a specific place.
Challenge people, empower people so they can grow and thrive in their skills, in their activities, and they can give a good contribution to the whole goals in the company. So, what do you think are the core questions for leadership in strategic international management? One of the key questions we have to think about, and upon these key questions, you have to lead, you have to build up your skills, and you have to change the things. Let me repeat. What do you think are core questions for leadership in international management?
First of all, you need to ask the right questions. But then you also need to be aware of the fact that it's decisive to have the right questions reaching your desk at the right time. So make sure that you've created an environment that's very open and don't get things too easily, but don't put off your fellow employees so decisions reach your desk in time.
Interesting. This is a strategic idea, strategic goals. Which long-term goals should we pursue, for example? It's a very important question. Another one, very, very operative. Which market segments do we want to be in? This is a question you need in the 21st century, globalized economies. There is a question, how can we compete successfully in those market segments? These are all questions, or what actions do we have to take to implement our long-term goals? These are all tasks for leadership, for managers, for leaders with vision, with innovative power and change to have success in their market, success for the company, and success for the employees. Success, but not only in gaining money, in gaining innovations, intrinsity. That's the fire which burns to make good success and to have success and to have fun in the company. So, the need for international leadership management is we need knowledge in management. We need new knowledge in management. We need new approaches. All the business administration approaches from yesterday are not working today. All is globalized, all is networking, all is in platforms, in interfaces, so other skills. And we have to work on these skills and we have to talk about these skills. We had yesterday talked about creating sustainable performance. Do you remember? What have been the mechanisms? If you remember, we had 3 mechanisms yesterday to create sustainable performance. One of these mechanisms was shared information. Do you remember the other 2? What have been the other 2?
Lifelong learning.
Lifelong learning. Very good. Do you know the last one?
Continuous feedback.
Right. Offer performance feedback directly and often. So now these are all elements you have to perform as a leader. So a very important question is, what are your own abilities? What are your skills? What do you identify as your outstanding skills? So my question is, for example, who is bachelor here? Who is in the bachelor studies? And which grade or which semester? First, second, third, second, all? Okay. 4, okay. Is there any graduate here? Okay. What? Master graduate or?
Yeah, I've just ended my bachelor degree.
Bachelor degree? Bachelor? Master?
Master.
Master's degree? Okay, perfect. Some other master's degree? Degree? Graduated, finished, you too?
I have a magister and
Magister, okay. And you? Finished, okay. Have any PhD here? PhD candidate? You are PhD candidate. So we have a wonderful mixture of experience and a wonderful mixture of skills. So, what do you think are the challenges for international leadership management? What are the challenges? What do you think?
When we talk about something international, we need to have in mind that we work with people from different cultures,
Okay.
different backgrounds, so we have to be prepared with that, to know what people we have in front of us, to be able to respond to everything that is going to happen.
Very good. Business people must learn to operate in multiple environments. This is very, very important.
You must find the right people. If you have subsidiaries around the world, you have to find people who are capable of managing the subsidiaries around the world and people you can trust in. And it's very difficult when there is physical distance because, of course, you have less physical contact with people, so it's less easy to understand if someone is really trustable.
In Sicily, the people say mezza parola. Mezza parola means I think as you think, the half mind. I think it's a little bit your idea.
Yeah.
So, others are the business people or the managers, the leaders must learn to play a global competitive game. And this global competitive game means you have to negotiate. You have to negotiate tools and you have to make new deals with other tools, and you have to convince the parties with other tools, multi-party games and such things, other structures. So this will be a very interesting point for the leadership skills, for the leadership management. So, but all can only happen if you as a leader has a good team. And if you as a leader can visualize or energize your team. Because if teams fail or if managers fail, they don't look at the norms in the teams. We have found some research in Cambridge University. They say they have found that even groups comprising brilliant individuals will make bad decisions if the group disintegrates into bickering, for example. Everybody knows what is bickering? Bickering means there are brawling and so.
I want to give you a very visual example. If you take, for instance, a row, and you have two teams competing, who's getting the other team on its side, on its respective side. The team just not simply has to be on the same row, it has to pull in the very same direction. So if you have a team on the row, you know, there are basically two options. Part of the people could pull in one direction, and part of the people could pull in another direction. You need to make sure that they pull in the same direction.
They pull in the same direction. That is a special task for you as a manager. We have, for example, high-performance teams. High-performance teams, you know what high-performance teams are? Pardon?
Successful teams?
High-performance teams are teams which have special attitudes. For example, one attitude in a high-performance team is that they are interested that other team members will grow as they grow by themselves. For example, this is a special idea of teamwork. This not means, as I said before, even groups with brilliant individuals can make bad decisions if the group disintegrates with interpersonal rivalry or power plays. This is bad. And you, as a manager, as a leader, has to manage this. And there are high-performance teams. And these high-performance teams have other goals than a normal working team. So, this is the next point. You have to look as a manager. So, but how can you be such a manager? What are the ways, the path? What are the skills and what are the tools you have personally to get into these leadership tasks that you can, for example, lead a high-performance team? So you have to ask yourself some questions. What could it be, for example?
I've been asking myself a question, and I think the answer is very simple. You need to lead by example. If you want to be a high-performance team in which people participate from growing, you need to be mindful of the fact that you shouldn't be putting someone else down or making yourself large because you make the others small. This is a very simple idea, but working in a political environment, I know that it is decisive that people actually they trust each other, as you said, and then that they work as a football team, for instance.
With great commitment between the members. But, please.
I believe that if you want your team members to grow up,
Okay.
You need to be people-oriented in general, but it depends on the team and its goals. If you might not be that people-oriented, it's still be successful.
Very good.
I think the very first thing that you need to do is that educating yourself, because you need to know like the large knowledge before you want to be any.
Someone else?
I was going to say, I think in a high performance team you have a lot of synergies. So you need to be picking people up and like picking the team members very wisely in terms of diversified skill set, not overlapping. And if they're brilliant in their own field, that's when they start complementing each other instead of competing with A, motivate and B, you get the best out of people. So high synergies.
I have something to say about motivation. I think that if you want to motivate the people, the first thing you have to do is to show yourself as a leader commitment in what you are doing. Because if people around you think that you are not believing truly in what you're doing, they will not follow you in a correct way. Then another thing that is very important is to understand the psychology of each of the team members, because even people who are doing the same thing could have very different goals. Even just in terms of compensation. I work with people in a startup who are interested in equity. Others are just interested in having a salary. Others are not interested in either. They just want maybe they are very motivated if they see if they can work with the latest computer. It's just something stupid, but you really have to understand that different people have different goals even in the same environment.
It's true. This means you have to take a look on your self-motivation first, and you have to take a look on your psychological skills and other things. Important personal skills on the tracks to be a leader in the future. What do you think will these be? What skills, for example?
Be open-minded, have the true ability to be questionable as well, and also question what you did, and also question any decision you made in a certain extent, and also in a very specific situation, and whether you would have acted the exact same way in a different setting.
Other idea?
I think it's always important to be controversial. I would argue that once you always question yourself, you end up like Nixon, President Nixon, who always sat in his office and thought about polls and, could I do that any better? And in the end, he ended up like Angela Merkel, not doing anything. And so the problem is, if you reflect too much, you can't lead. Of course, this is a coin with two sides. If you're always very active, that you know what, I'm going to decide it, or I'm going to motivate you for a specific goal, you will end up being a dictator. But if you always question yourself, you're not a leader, you're a question maker.
This is very interesting because we have new research in Harvard Business School. And Harvard Business School, they research also a lot in psychological and these attitudes and leadership styles and so. And there is one finding we have: if you are new in a company and new leader, what do you think? You should go in the department or in the company and be, I am the boss and you have to follow? Or do you have another idea? I mean, what do you think? You go in, you are first day in the company, you are a fantastic leader, brilliant, educated, top ranked. You go in and say, I'm the boss. And you should be running like this. Is it wrong or is it right?
The management in the box does not work too many.
Okay, you mean your impression is it doesn't work? Other impressions? Here?
It depends.
Yeah,
I think there are definitely some cases where strong leadership can form people to a real group together. Somebody that has real guidance and guides people where they need to be. So it can help. as well. But the most basic thing for leadership, to me, is to be physically there and not just be, especially in the future, in some video conference somewhere else in the world. It doesn't, no, the real leader doesn't perform like that. So you need to be really physically there and talk to people face to face.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree that some setting authoritarian leader might help, might work, but not on the first day. If you come in the first day and say, well, basically what you're doing is all crappy and it's wrong, and I think people feel disrespected and feel inferior at a point in time, which will not make them open for any comments from the boss.
I think also when you come on the first day, you have to take the time out to get to know your employees and what are they like and how the whole system of teamwork works in that company. It's all fine to set out guidelines and rules, but how do you know that those rules are going to actually enhance performance instead of decreasing it, for example? So getting to know your employees and
Very impressive. You coming from a legal background, and I have to join you saying it depends. It depends on the very circumstances you are entering your office. I don't think that President Obama wanted to listen to what all the people had to say when he entered the office. If you are a private equity investor, a hedge fund, and you enter a business that's in an abysmal situation, in order to turn it around, you won't sit there listening to how the situation is. You'll say, you know what, people, today we have a new company, and we are going to do everything differently. If you enter the Deutsche Bank, however, you can't just say, you know what, from today onwards we're a new company. People will tear you into pieces. So it depends on the circumstances in which you enter.
And let me say one, and it depends on the leverage effect. If you are the president of the United States, elected presidents, you have the first leverage. So this is not the case we are talking about. We are talking about a company case. But it's interesting what I phrase the company.
Just regarding the private equity example, if you go, every company has got a culture. If you go to a company and you say, okay, this is the new way, people who are working there really, as you said, will feel like, will not believe in you as a leader, will just, you really risk to ruin the whole thing. I mean, if you have to change things, you can change things in a rapid way, but you need to be careful. You cannot do this in day one, okay? This is the new way. Because otherwise people will not accept the new culture. Culture takes a little bit of time. So even transactions, even when you're moving from the past to the future, you always need to be gradual, I think. Of course, gradual can also be 2 months, 3 months, but it cannot be, okay, this is the new rules, follow these rules.
We might like to disagree.
Okay, but you had an idea?
I agree that at the beginning you have to get to know your team, the culture, the company, etc. But I personally believe that if you're a good leader, if you're a good manager, you can succeed in different companies, in fields that you have no experience before. That I have personally done that. Even at the same company, different teams, different departments, they have different way of work, different rhythm of their work. So, and you can succeed in different teams if you're good.
Very good. You had an idea?
Yeah, just to add to the couple arguments before, I would also like to consider Cotter. If you look at the management style you introduced, you would also say you have to identify barriers for change. You have to address the right people. You have to address the right people in the right positions with the right with the effective network to actually build up a critical mass and implement change actions. And this is where you get the support from others. The change is actually going to happen, and it's not going to break down again. And
what? Okay.
Yeah.
This is finished. Yeah.
What do you think is the leading or leadership style at the moment in India? What is the leadership style in India at the moment? Is this authoritarian? Is this participative? What do you think? How do they, in big companies, not only in the small ones, the big ones? There's a big discussion at the moment, leadership style in India. Future market. Future style.
I see that in India especially, employees are not really allowed to share their opinion. And it's like whatever the leader says.
You think more authority?
Yeah.
It's very ambitious, I think. They have a very, very ambitious goal, vision for the entire infrastructure and also the entire region to develop. And therefore, I would also say it's rather edgy, but also in some extent cooperative, because you again need the right people with the right vision that you have or that you're able to align.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, given that background or that historical background with different castes, which still presents society, I would argue that it's very hierarchical and therefore pretty authoritarian.
I think you are right. At the moment, it's a very multicultural society, and the employees are very, very multicultural, and it's the same here in Europe. And at the moment, they are in a change, swift a little bit, from hierarchical to more participant. This is, at the moment, the trend we see in research about leadership style in India. And now my answer to the question I have had to you: if you are a new manager, get bossy or not? The answer is, normally, is that the best managers are collaborative. After all, nobody likes to be bossed around. So, new leaders, this is new research, new leaders who are perceived as having low status because of the age. You are new maybe in the company, you are young, you are very well educated, but you have no status with the other employees because of their age, education, or experience, and now become a result. Lead better when they tell subordinates what to do at the first step. At the first step. If, as a new manager, you sense that your team doesn't yet have confidence in you, you're better off setting the agenda, establishing clear direction, and putting people to work on what you think needs to be done to reach the goals of the company. This is very important in the first step, because people are more happy, employees are more happy if they get a goal they can reach. If they get goals they don't reach, or goals which are too far, these people will be unproductive. These people will be unhappy. You have to manage the goals, and this is one of your tasks as the new manager. One of your tasks to make a good proportion of the task you're giving the people. And now I will have the second part of my research. Only after you have established your authority, only after you have established your authority, should you introduce a more collaborative style. And that is what we see in the companies that we see in leadership. These steps are very important to lead people, to burn people, to spark people, and to have people which are happy with their work, which can reach the goals together with you as a new leader. Because all of you, you are young people, the next generation, you are bachelors, and so you are the young leaders in the future. And you will exactly have this situation if you come in a company and have your first leading authority position. So I think someone had a question.
And first of all, I want to argue, can you really say this is a one-size-fits-all approach? No matter which kind of organization, no matter if it's a bank or a hospital,
I think
would say this.
It's in general approach which fits.
Can I ask you a question back? can you lead without authority?
Well, not necessarily, but following the same step. First being authoritarian and then being collaborative. I don't know if it's really the right thing to do.
But what he said is that you first need to have authority. Then you can be collaborative. If you don't have authority, how do you want to lead? People won't follow you.
What is your definition?
Yeah, that's a good thing. And we are like in the law center, working with definitions.
Yeah, but how would you?
Change authority how it is now.
You can, it's very interesting.
Really?
Before it was needed. Yeah. For instance.
I will say something. But this is very interesting. Let me say something. There are two authority forms maybe we can see.
Yeah.
On the one hand is a formal authority. This is from the organizational structure. This is a hierarchy. This is an authority structure. And the other authority could be your education in combination with your personality, with your standing, with your attitude, with your going into the room. Some people go into the room, everybody is looking. This is a normal, and this is an authority which is maybe personal. So we have to combine this in a balance.
I just wanted to say that you don't need people to lead with authority, but if you have a vision, people follow, and then you can lead.
I will give you an example. Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs, with great Apple. I think some of you have an iPhone or an iPad or something. I have an iPhone here. So, Steve Jobs was very well known that he set goals. And he was well known too that he wanted to fulfill his setting goals. For example, Steve Jobs has the products from Steve Jobs are, if you see, iPhone, very clear, very easy. The product design is very easy. This is a product design from Braun, Germany. Bauhaus architecture, Germany. Steve Jobs have looked at these architectures, had looked at the Braun designs, and had said to his people, we need black and white. We need it very clear. Make this product very clear. So this was a goal, this was the setting of a goal, this was a vision, innovative, creative, and he had said to all his managers who are working with him, you have to do this. And he has controlled it. He was very well known for that. For example,
I think authority is the ability to make things happen. Or if you look at the definition of power, power is the ability to force people to do something regardless on which this power is based upon. I think you can't lead without authority. Neither 500 years ago nor nowadays. And you can't drive a car without energy. And it's the very same in a company. And you might be irritated by that, but it's not about, I think authority, what it all comes down to, hasn't changed. The means might have changed, but authority, I think, is the ability to achieve something.
I think I have an answer to you. The problem I see is authority on the one hand and dictatorship on the other hand. And with authority, we don't mean dictatorship. We mean our definition is authority as something which can support reaching goals from individuals, goals from companies, goals between individuals, and goals between groups, high performance groups, as we said before. This is our business administration and life definition of authority, not dictatorship.
Yeah, sure. And as you just said, you don't need to be authoritarian to establish authority.
Exactly.
And that's what it all comes down to. Yeah.
Any other contribution?
Yeah, but maybe I think, which was very valuable what you said, because I think you have to make yourself lose of the thought that authority is per se negative, because it is not negative in a general perception. And one other argument on Apple and the design of everything, Steve Jobs was a very distinctive leader in those terms and had a certain standing and everything, and he was able to form a very broad vision where the products have to head. He had also very unique, again, people that he was working with. And for instance, you were mentioning the design, and the head designer is Jonathan Ivey, and he's been very much kind of influenced by all the Bauhaus design. And he was the mastermind actually behind the design. And they were also, of course, he was also very much involved, again, Steve Jobs, in all different stages of the product development. It's also, again, the people which he was able to integrate, form one homogeneous team.
One way of winning authority, I think, is when you delegate, when you set tasks and roles to people, you should explain to them why and why they are choosing to do this. Because when they know why, they understand better what they do. They could give some good proposals, something that could be improved, and they see that you understand what you're doing, and they start to believe it.
This is exactly what we said yesterday. Share information. If you are a leader, share information. Share information so that, absolutely right, the employees know what to do and they know his goal or her goal. But I want to go back to our point, important personal skill on the track to be a leader in the future. One of these skills is remove barriers, for example. Remove barriers. And there is one other characteristic for new leaders. If you fail, it could be that you can fail. If not in the leadership, but in other things, or in the life. If you fail, and that is a very, very important characteristic of a new leader. If you fail, doesn't mean you won't succeed the next time. And you don't have to wait until next September to try again. This is research from University of California, Los Angeles, and it's from January 2012, and they have researched about such psychological attitudes and characteristics. And this is a very important attitude. If you fail, don't mean you succeed the next time. I can recommend you live like this, because it's more successful.
There's a very good quote that comes to mind, and that is, the faster you fail, the quicker you succeed, actually. And it's very true. I was reading this really good book called Starting It Up by Lucas Johnson, and he's one of the chairman of Trummer, as well as experience like a large portfolio of companies in the UK. And one of the main points he was drawing on from entrepreneurship was in America there's a very big emphasis on failure. And before an investor wants to invest in startup in America, they actually ask them how many times have you failed? And apparently more times if they failed, better investment it is because they've actually provided they've learned their lessons. Whereas in other countries, say, oh, you failed like 3 or 4 times, why should I invest? It's a very reverse psychology.
This is very, very interesting. Thank you for this contribution. I will give you two approaches. In America, fail, 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 and you are always on the top, and you are in the game. Again, for the future. Fail, fail, fail. In Germany, they say fail, oh, no more in the future. This is a very big difference between our cultures. So you have a culture in the company, you have a culture in the economy, and European culture is a little bit different. So failing in Germany, I say Germany, failing in Germany means that's the end of your career. but failing in the USA means trial and error, and so they see you can grow. You can grow, they give you a chance. And this is what I mean with try it again, not too long in the future, try it now, make it again. So if you are in the first leadership or in your first leadership position, don't be afraid you can fail. You can fail, but you have another chance in the future. So, leadership questions. I want to give you some leadership questions. So you can say, or you can give your feedback, what this means to you. Great leadership is in its economic results visible. Great leadership is in its economic result visible. But in the creation of its power to achieve these results, a bit like the invisible hand, which challenge the good ideas and team spirits in an organization. I think this is a very interesting definition of leadership. Invisible hands. This is your minding, your visioning. This is the skill, your psychological skill to burn the teams, to make the teams innovative, creative, and to make the teams happy. So that the leader, if the leader goes out of the door, it is better, his team says, oh, I heard the team very well. It's better than they say, oh, perfect, boss is outside, we go drinking a coffee. Yes, this is your task. This is your task. If you give them your back, then it would be great. These people working together as you, if you would be here in the team. This is not so easy. This is not so easy. So you have to have for this psychological attitudes. Another question, another quote I want to give you to reflect it. Know that you are not perfect. Know that you are not perfect. Knowing that you are not perfect. And very important, don't strive always and every day to be a perfect business decision maker. I repeat, don't strive always and every day to be a perfect business decision maker, negotiator, or leader. It does not work. It does not work. You will see it in your pragmatic career. It doesn't work. Too much unpredictable and uncertain variables. More emotional leadership. That works. That works. In our days today, people are well educated, your employees will be well educated, your negotiation partners will be well educated, they will be as educated as you on both sides of the table. So other skills are required than only leadership or authority, other skills. So, another question for you. Leaders of the future, next generation. Should an entrepreneur or a CEO, is an entrepreneur, be an expert in execution or ideation or not? What do you think?
Once more?
Execution or ideation? Ideengeber, Idefinder, ideation.
Well, of course it depends, but usually an idea is very important, but without execution it's not worth much. So, of course you must have a good idea, but a good idea without being capable of doing it does not make much sense.
Okay. Any other contribution?
I've recently seen a TED Talk, and I'm sure some of you have too, about how to, what good leadership is about. And he drew a circle about 3 dimensions.
Okay.
The other circle was what, the middle one was how, and the center of the circle was why. And he claims that to be an inspiring leader, you have to you have to tell your employees and your customers why you're doing something. So it's not so much about the output or it should be the product, profit, whatever. It's about the inspiring idea behind it.
Very interesting, because this is the spirit, the culture.
Could you just mention the three words again? Why?
Why, how, and what. And he says that most companies focus on what. That's how they advertise their products, that's how they recruit their employees. Some know how they do that, but only very few know why they're actually doing this.
There is a video on TED.com.
I remember maybe in this case we have to distinguish between leaders and managers, because leaders are the ones who provide the idea of vision and having the horizontal view, and managers are the ones who are like operating the day-to-day business. So I think leaders are the ones who have the ideas, and managers are the ones who are the experts. You know?
Yeah, very interesting. So, I want to see on the other side of the coin. Leadership, success, leading of companies, vision, creativities, and so on. What do you think are the nightmare of the alpha animals? What do you think are the nightmare of an alpha animal or the alpha? You know what alpha animals are? Okay. So what do you think? What are the greatest career risks? I mean, nightmare as a career risk. What do you think? And this is some of the characteristics of leaders. What you should not exhibit. We had yesterday a discussion with our panelists. What should a leader not exhibit? So here are now your ideas. Leaders of the future. What should you not? In your teams, in your company, in your position, in your function.
Yeah, also never forgetting to listen to the people around you and sort of getting too carried away. I guess to kind of feel you're in charge all the time.
Okay.
Forgetting that other people have ideas as well.
Very interesting.
I would look at it from another point of view. Let's say, what would you not expect from your boss, from your leader?
Yes.
So this is a fairly more easy way of looking at it. So I don't want my boss to be like a dictator or be something else, but it's just I just want to keep that idea of looking at it from the down side of the ladder. Because I think most of us would start on the bottom of that. So that was, well, I don't know if I can say it like that, but something that was missing yesterday already. That they only talk from the top.
Yeah, what I think is completely wrong to do for a leader is to take credits of others in the team. You know, to take credits from the entire team all the time, or take credits from a member of the team all the time. I think if you do that, then team members after a while won't be willing to contribute anymore because they get the feeling I'm only doing it for him or her who leads the group. I think you should never do that.
Okay. Do you have a contribution?
I was just going to go up on the point, and I think actually you guys learn from the role models that you do not want to be like. You look, especially like for me as a woman wanting to go to finance, you look at some of the women leaders of the organization, and there's very few of them. There's quite a few that are really bad, and they get to that position and thinking, gosh, I don't want to be like you. And you do actually learn more from those leaders in the positive ones, because positive, it's really hard to pick out the traits of making positives. You have like a maybe wrong one. Bad ones, you know, this is what you do, at least what I hope that to be doing.
Okay, very interesting. Another contribution on idea. So, very, very great career risk. And the career risk could be that you have no followers, that your team will break up from your leading. This is a career risk. And I will give you some ideas. What are the greatest career risks? There is some research about this and you can figure it out. Bluffing. Bluffing. Bluffing is a great career risk. Maybe in the first step it works, but in the controlling and in the view after, ex post, in the ex post view, this is the risk. Well said and nothing is done. This means bluffing. Better is well said and well done. What do you think?
To what a leader shouldn't do or exhibit is to show insecurity, not have confidence in oneself. And there we can also talk about the bluffing, because our leaders should know what he's good at and what he's not so good at. So that when there's a task where the leader doesn't, so that the leader can ask for maybe not advice, not give the leader role away, but to let the group members contribute to play on the strengths.
I understand what you say. I will give you an example from practice. If you are a leader, I'm a leader here at the university. I'm a chief executive. I have this situation. If you say to an employee, to one of your peers, co-workers, your work is very good, you have good results, and you are fitting good in the team, and I will help you, I will support you to make the next step, but we agree the next step will be in a half a year or in a 1 year. I have to make some evaluations of your performance. So, this is a message to your employee. And if you don't fulfill this message in a year and you forget it, that's bad. And then you will lose confidence in your team. If you do this a lot of times, you will see. You have to be worthy. You have to be trustful. That's very, very important in the future of your leading situation. Another thing is, you have said uncertainty. A leader should show sometimes that he is not so certain. He can lose his mask. If you only work with your mask, there will be coming a point where the people look behind your mask. And that's a problem. That's a problem. Be authentic. Be authentic in every way. You can lose your mask. No employee, no peer will have something bad about it. They will think he is one of us, but we know he is the leader. Yes, this is the point.
We've been talking about being racist. I put on a mask that I know what's right, but I actually don't. And the company is facing crises, so I need some decisive information. And I don't allow others to give me advice because all I show to them is that I already know the answer. The company will lack the advice of the people that the company employs, and the situation won't be resolved in a positive way.
Very interesting. Let me take
just a buzzword. It kind of sounds like crowdsourcing or also SWOT intelligence, because you have to be able to commit to others and also integrate their opinions and information that they have.
A key word in this topic is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence and social intelligence. These are key topics in this leading situation. Another risk in your leadership career could be or is vanity. Vanity. Everybody knows what is vanity. Vanity. Eitelkeit. Einbildung. the wrong impression of yourself. Vanity. Oh, another, loss of reality in your team. Loss of reality in your team, in your company. If you lose the reality of your company and you are thinking in gold rush dreamings, then you will fail. Because the market will show you and the people that will show you that you are not on the right track. And two other points are very, very important career risks. Resistance against critics. Be open-minded for constructive critics. Ask for critics. Ask your people what are the ideas of your team. This will support your team spirit. And the team spirit, you are the manager of your culture in the team and your team spirit in the team. And the last one is, or one of the very, very important ones, we have it in law, for example. In America, we have made research, Harvard University, we have seen in negotiation, for example. We have pointed out that in USA, black people will be more often in jail sentenced for the same crime as white people. Because a lot of people, judges in the USA, say black people are more criminal than white people. This is absolutely damaging because this is a bias, prejudice. You know what prejudice is? Prejudice, bias, vorurteil. So, and for your company leadership situation, don't have bias. Don't have prejudice against people, against maybe yellow people or something. You are in a multicultural, black or white or yellow, all there are the best. So you have to think about it. And you have to prove yourself. Do I have any bias, any prejudice against maybe the market, against your employees, against the company or something? Because with bias, you have not the chance to make a realistic decision. So, reflect it. No bias against nothing. Try to be objective. Please.
One remark and one question to the bias, I think. You can't live without stereotypes. Everyone has them, and you just need to be as much aware of them as you can. And a question to the feedback, how can I assure as a leader that I receive honest feedback from my employees?
Very interesting question.
Yeah.
You can, yes. You want to say something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you want to have honest feedback, have people that give you feedback to the feedback. And so,
yes, the third party opinion.
Yeah,
the third party opinion.
I didn't get that.
Well, I'm most eager to repeat it. In order to get feedback that's worth the name, I think it's a good idea to have feedback for feedback, an objective opinion.
From coworkers or
somebody from
another maybe easier way. If your employees understand that they will not have consequences with their feedbacks, or at least they will have only positive consequences. After a while, you will be sure that their feedback is honest. At the very beginning, maybe you will not be sure about that, but medium term, it works like that.
Please do.
Probably also make up some incentives and also reward, not like a monetary reward system, but also like if you receive feedback as a superior from your subordinate, you should also give feedback back. So it's like a dialectic or dyadic approach.
Very interesting, because think on our mechanisms, as we talked at the beginning of our event and yesterday. Share information. Share information. Offer fair performance feedback. Fair and true performance feedback. This is a task for you as the leader in the first sense. And then you will get a feedback to you as a person and a leader. And then you will be seen, this will be an honest feedback.
One more quick thought on it, and also underpin your feedback with various examples. Because if you just give feedback, it's pretty easy to make up an assumption or to actually gather some results. But you should also always try to give examples when you perceive something that you try to address or that you try to maybe criticize, and also give positive feedback. Feedback is not negative in general. You should also be able to give positive feedback.
Thank you for this contribution. And let me say one example from operative situation. Your feedback you will give as a leader should be very quick after the action. If you think this person, this employee, has made a wonderful result in his task I had given him, yes? Then you should give the feedback directly. Maybe you give it in the night with an email. The other will read it and he will be happy that you are thinking on him and that you are thinking on the result of his task and that you evaluate it as a very good result. So the other person, the employee, is sure that you are thinking, dealing with him, that you have thoughts about him. And this is the invisible hand I had in my quote before. The invisible hand to manage something. To have the culture, to have the feeling that the others, the employees, the peers, have the feeling our leader is a person who will deal with us, who is happy to deal with us, and who is happy to have the good results from you, because he will give something back to you. Giving back strategy. Every day, and give a true and honest performance, also a negative performance. The other, it's a help, it's a support for the other. If someone fails or someone don't understand his task, maybe you have to ask, do you have understand? What is my task for you? Do you have understand? Or do you have any questions? If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. There's no problem. So you can build a trustful relationship. You have a relationship with your employees. These are no strange persons. These are persons from your, I will say, team family, if you say. I think you was before.
When we're talking about giving a feedback, I think that the leader should be aware of different techniques of giving feedback. For example, it could be like 360, everyone is the same, everyone giving the feedback like in the team. Not only the leader to the team members, but also team member to team member. And also the sandwich technique is very good to say something that is positive about the results of the work of the employee, then you say the negative part, and then again you finish with something positive, so there is no bad taste after the feedback. So that's that.
Please.
I think the question was that how do you get true and trustful feedback?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think in order to get like a real feedback, you should ask people for giving you feedback and ask them how about their suggestion. What can you do better? Because then they will be more responsible for their feedback.
This is very interesting because this is your leading role. This is your leading role as a leader. You have to explain what you want. If something is wrong, you have to define the structure that it will be good. This is your task. And you have to define and explain it to your peers so that they can fulfill it. And then they will be happy. As I said before, if you give an employee a task he cannot fulfill because he is not educated enough, he has not too much skills or pragmatic experience or something, then he will be unhappy. And then he will be not honest to you. So, as what I say is, please be fair. Fair in discussion, in the interaction with your co-workers. And also in sport, it's the same. Think a little bit on sport. Sporting, fairness. Fairness is absolutely in the society a very important attitude. And this means ethical. If you go into the ethical field, be ethical. What you do, please ask yourself, was this ethical or not? Is my behavior ethical or not? You will get from yourself a true answer. Really, it works. And so you can interact with your employees. Something is very simple, but you have to do it. And you have to live it. And they have to see it, so that they can see it. And then I am convinced, because I have a lot of practice in leadership, so it works. But
I was thinking for feedback as well, and maybe it's my background as an engineering student, and spending more time with sort of computers and machines than people all the time. So you get used to sort of feedback you get is only numbers and what you can measure, like physically measure, or your systems. So I suppose as a leader, it's obviously really important to have in place a series of measures so you can compare how well everyone's doing. It's obviously in combination with oral feedback from people that have a series of computer systems that you can measure performance in partnership.
Yes, we have a lot. We have a lot of systems to evaluate, to measure productivity and other things. But you have to communicate it to your people in the right way. Maybe if they fail in the productivity in sales, for example, sales is a very good example. They make a ranking. This business is the first, or business is the first, and this is the last, and I have to criticize the last. No, I have to support the last, and have to ask, what can we do in education, in training, in step, or is this the right position for you? Or are you only not the business people man, or maybe you are a back office man and make some administration or other things. So this is your task. This is your task to bring this person in the right direction so that he can fulfill his work, so that he is happy again with his work. And if people are happy in your company, they bring the greatest productivity. Absolutely. We have research about it. That is absolutely right. People which are working, which are happy in their work, which like their work, which like their task, and which can fulfill their task. And that overloaded, that are not overloaded, these people are productive. So, my idea is now a last point, then we make a quick break, 5 minutes. But my last question to you, how long are CEOs in average in their leadership positions today? We have some changes. What do you think?
4 to 5 years.
What do you think it was about 2005, in this period? What do you think? Oh, only a number. Do you think it is growing, or do you think it is reducing? What do you think? 2005, what do you think? How many years was the CEO in this position? About?
Maybe long. Yes.
Maybe long? How long? About only 2 years? 8 to 10? Very good. More than 10. What do you think?
I think before it was like, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Now it maybe is 5, 7.
10, 15 years. Yes. Other contributions, ideas? Okay, so you are right. About in 2005, it was about 8 or 9 years he was in this position. And nowadays, 2010, 2011, it's 5 until 6 years. But what is the reason? Or what are the reasons? What do you think?
I think people nowadays are more mobile according to their work, to their company, etc. So they change positions more often.
This is very positive. This is really positive. But there are other reasons. Please.
I think that it has to be because when you are a CEO, you have your own interests too. So I think what is changing is that the CEO interests, goals, personal goals, and the company's goals sometimes goes in different directions. So, and I think that's why in these years we have assisted so many scandals scandals in the corporate. So I think it's an explanation.
Yes, good contribution.
I think it has something to do with the business cycle. I mean, if the business cycle is going very well, I keep the management, I keep the team. If I see that the company is going not that well, and of course if all the economy is going not that well, companies are not doing well, I tend to change the management more often.
Yes?
We're seeing more companies kind of hiring skills and consultants instead of having one leader with all of the different skills. So I think that kind of can explain something as well. That in a project we just hire people with different skills at different times within the project instead of just having one leader throughout the whole project. So I think that can explain something.
Yes, absolutely.
I was just going to build upon the point of business side, because I think at the moment the times are more challenging and more dynamic, and also a lot of companies, quite frankly, haven't done performing well. So the shareholders always pointing at the CEO, and if the CEO cannot impose the restructuring or whatever is needed to make the company profitable, he feels perhaps it's better for his reputation to step down before he gets the company into further trouble and leave the chance for someone else. And of course, looking at the state of the labour market, it's quite a few people have been laid off, so there's more people that want to be sitting up to those challenges. So perhaps a question of supply and demand as well.
Yes? And you?
I would like to add two arguments to that, which is what's been said, because you also have to look at the branch in which you operate, and you also have to look or consider the history or the founding history of the company. For instance, if you look at Bosch, which is rather kind of like family influence because it's been like run like a family entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial company. Franz Fehrenbach, for instance, CEO at the time or right now, has been within the company for I think now 12 or 13 years already, and he's been appointed CEO again. And this is like a very conservative branch also, but they are a typical or very famous and very unique company. They're settled in Germany and operating on a multinational scale. So you have to consider also the branch, then the economic development, also cycles, and the founding history of the company.
You are all right, and I give you some additional ideas. For example, compliance, corporate governance, analysts, rating agencies, all these factors have influence in change of management or change of CEOs. So, we make a short break here, and 5 minutes, and then we go into the second part of our workshop. It is the first part of this sentence, what it takes to become a leader. Now we have talked about being a leader, and then we make a step back. You are not a leader, but you want to be a leader, so how to become a leader. Thank you. All participants are in, so great to welcome you once again to our second part. And this part, we want to talk about how to become a leader. That means you are all students in the second or third or fourth semester bachelor. And the question is, what means management today? And what are the personal skills and attitudes? And what are the application tools? So for you, it is a very important step to have the first step in the company, or maybe you had a step in the company for an internship, for example, or another way. So now we want to discuss some things to help you in your career development to become a leader. And then you can be a leader. So, but one sentence before: management is the ability, the know-how for business administration and management concepts, coordinate, integrate in a holistic leadership system, and also viewing the exogenous variables. This is your task in the whole for the future. And so, what are the tools? What do you think? How do you think getting a job as a leader in the future? What are your actions? What are your ideas? What are your application strategy steps? Please.
To become a leader now, I think you can, if you have a business background, you can choose two different paths. One is entrepreneurship, and it's of course the fastest, the most, the riskiest, of course, maybe the most interesting. The second one, of course, is to apply to top employees. But with top employees, my question, something I have to understand is how much you can advance. I mean, if you're really good, can you advance faster than the others? Or if you apply, for example, you work into McKinsey or into Bain or into JP Morgan or whatever. There is, of course, these are all top employees, but I think that they do not make much difference between people in their advancing career. I mean, you cannot move forward much faster than the others in this kind of company. So I'm wondering, is there a way to...
Yes, this is a very interesting question, because this is the way to make career. Yeah. And the way to make career depends on a lot of variables and a lot of exogenous variables you cannot control. And of course, a lot of your skills and your attitudes and your skill to grow by yourself. And your skill to energize you by yourself, and the skill to communicate with others, top level or the same level or down level. Don't forget the people under you. Very, very important. Don't be not vanish. See all the people. All people can help because you are in a network. If you are in a company or if you apply to a company, you apply over networks, for example. This is a way to be successful. And there is no king's way or queen's way to make to go on the top or to be a CEO. There is a way of work, but there is a way with a little bit luck to be on the right position at the right time and have the right mentors. This is an exogenous variable. So there is a lot of things to find the right way. So, but let me ask you a question. Who will be an entrepreneur in the first step, and who will be applying at a company in the first step? Please.
I would like to.
You have an idea?
At least it's my short aim.
Okay, but you want to apply first
Yeah.
in a company to make experience, or you want to found a company?
In the UK, there is a program called Entrepreneur First. They select 30 graduates
Okay,
from
perfect.
top universities. In the UK.
Perfect. And then you can found a company.
So they help you for 1 year.
Okay. Great.
So that's
Great program.
So you get help. It's not.
It is coached by the universities?
It's actually it's the government in the UK.
Okay.
Through David Cameron's
Funding and so.
and McKinsey actually.
McKinsey.
So they got together and they're like, how can we reduce or decrease the UK unemployment
Okay. Very interesting.
Yes.
I will start a master's degree this year in August, and it's in Sweden, and it's called entrepreneurship. And you do like, it's half a year of teaching, and half a year you start in your own business or your business idea, or you support another idea from other students, or the company you start.
Okay. You had made any internship in the past?
Yeah, several.
Several. Okay. Another question?
I think that in this case we should first ask ourselves, do we want to be a leader and like be the head of the company, or we want to be the owner of the company? Because these are two different things. And personally, I know that I want to be like the CEO of the company, but not the owner of the company. So, and first, I'm applying for a job. For example, in a big company, it would be a great place to learn a lot how it works, and especially if it's an international company, it's better. And then maybe, why not?
Who has made an internship? Oh, very good. A lot of people. But some people haven't made any internship. So, the first step in the company, and is the most important step in the company, if you want to go in a company and want to make a career development for the leadership, is an internship. Is it? Absolutely. Because the company wants to know. Maybe in times before, years before, there was another situation, but nowadays you get only a job or a long-time job if the company knows you and you have performed there. Because the companies want to know what are your abilities, skills, and what is your motivation in daily working structure. So therefore, internship, this is the only way to get in a company, to know the people, to know the peers, to know the management, and to know the opportunities. You have a question? Okay. So, this is usually the first. The second step could be, if the first steps, maybe you have to do some internships, some more internships. The second step can be that they will give you the chance to apply for a training program, for example, on a graduate program. So, I'll give you an example. Deutsche Bank, for example, you can apply for internships, and there is a pool of applicants, and if these pools are coming in, very good graduates and very good workers who have made very good results in their internships, and there is a second selection, and in this selection then they will offer you maybe the chance for a trainee program, a graduate program. So these are different steps to come into the company and to maybe to begin or start a leadership career in the companies. What are your ideas finding good locations for having a job in the companies? What are your ideas about? Where can you find good locations, or where do you have ideas finding a job, make your application? Portals, for example, networking portals.
Well, of course there are websites,
Okay.
but of course if you attend some kind of presentation of companies and you get to know someone from the company, it's much better because you can just send an email to that person and that person sends your CV directly to H&R so that you are sure that you're sure that your CV doesn't go wasted somewhere, and then also if of course you attend some kind of presentation, you get to know the company better. So when you are there at the interview, you already know what to expect more or less from.
Which university or which participant here is in a university who has a career development institution, organization? Okay. How does it work?
Well,
Are you You're satisfied with the work?
Yeah, I've met them a couple of times. So basically they have their office at our university and you can just book an appointment and go there and talk to them. They help you with the application, they write through my CV before I corrected it. So yeah, they're really helpful actually, and even after hopefully when you graduate.
Other ideas?
So at University of London, what we have is our career service. It sends out emails on behalf of employers, so there's two ways of employers to reach students. A, through societies, so at the beginning of the year you subscribe to the Finance Economic Society investment to their mailing list, and depending on who their sponsors are, they send out emails of upcoming events, lectures. Career service will say that they do for wide range of careers, and our resource center inside, so you have like books on how to write a CV and cover letter, you can have mock interviews, you can film during a mock interview, get feedback, you can have assessment center materials, so like all your books on numerical, verbal, reasoning. So yeah, you have a lot of support, but it's a question of the student actually go in there and taking advantage of the resources.
You have used it?
I've used it a lot of times.
And successful?
So far.
Okay. What is, for example, your university?
We have a career center, and I received the newsletter, but I'm really not sure if you go with your CV with the given advice. I don't know. I haven't tried it at all.
You could suggest it to your university.
Sorry?
That could be something you could suggest for your university.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other contributions? So I will show you the opportunities here in the Goethe University. Let me show. So, okay, this is, for example, the Goethe Finance Association here at the University of Frankfurt. Students from the university knows this, but our guests, it is new. This is, for example, the career supporting from the Frankfurt University with some features. So, Goethe Finance Association is the interface between the sponsor companies, students, alumni, faculty, and interested public in Frankfurt and in Germany. We are the biggest player in the university. This is the greatest organization of the Frankfurt University, and we are working with over 50 sponsor companies, global organized sponsor companies, and we are working with a lot of student initiatives here at the campus, and we are working with alumni. So I will show you an example how we make it here, for example. So if you see there are some buttons, I can translate. Is events, studying, students, CV check, alumni, and this is one of the most important, I think, it's job offers. So every student and every visitor of this homepage is free, is open, you can use it, and therefore I show it to you. If you are looking for jobs, you can use this homepage. So www.gfa-frankfurt.org, and then you can come to this homepage, and we have some details I want to show you in our example here. If you go to job offers, you have all the job offers we have at the moment actually. This is a platform, I think in Germany is the biggest platform for job offers for students and alumni in this field. So if you want to look for asset management or fund management or other items worldwide, we have jobs in Frankfurt, in London, everywhere. So you can click on the download site. So, and then I hope it will open a job offer. So this is, for example, the job offer from SEB Asset Management, and they are looking for students working in asset management. So in this manner, we have, let me close it. So, once again, so here we have the job offers. So you can see all the jobs and you can download the details so you have the chance to apply. And this is a platform with actual jobs, so we can offer our students, our alumni, and also others who will visit this website for jobs. This is one item. Another item to support career of our students here and to have our organization are the events. You see, we have, for example, today is our Next Generation Forum. This is announced, this event, and so we are announcing other events, for example, on 28th of June or 21st of June, then EB, Fresenius. These are all sponsor companies of Goethe Finance Association where we are offering events. And if you go on this side, then you have events we had in the past. So, for example, if you go to this event, so we had a wonderful event at the university with Helaba. It's one of our sponsor companies. It's a big bank here, a public bank in Germany, in Frankfurt, and they have created together with us a bachelor package. For all the bachelors, they received a package, and in this package there was a lot of very interesting items, like there have been a script from a lecture, or there have been some materials with where they can work with. For example, there was some pens and other things. So we had given it to over 100 bachelor students, and so we have, or the students have the chance to go in contact with the executives from Helaba and have the possibility and the opportunity to talk about these executives, to find job offers, to network. And one of the most important goals of Goethe Finance Association is networking, building invisible bridges for the students, the alumni, and the sponsor companies to get in touch together.
Are all events open for students from another universities? Or?
You are warmly invited if you are here in Frankfurt at the House of Finance at the Campus West End, and this is open. These events.
All the events. Some events are open for another.
Yes, we have some events which are open, or the company presentations. We have the company presentations, and these are open events. For example, at the company presentation, we are sitting here, and here are the executives from a bank, from another industry, some testimonials, and here are students, and you can hear a company presentation about a problem in the company, some leadership problems or other things. That we show you a project or a case study or something, and then you can discuss with them. These events are open. Free. If you are here in Frankfurt, you can attend these and you can make your contacts with the executives. Other events are restricted. For example, our workshops or case studies or chili events are restricted for application. So you have to apply with your CV or cover letter, and then maybe you will be invited, and you have a round table with the executives from industry or banking or consulting to go or get in touch with these and speak with them about your abilities, about your attitudes, your skills, your leadership potential, as we said in our first part of the session. So they have an impression from you, and so we try to build in these interface possibilities, opportunities for our members. We have about over, you see here, 2,000 members, so we have a lot of members here in the faculty. Over 60% of the faculty all is Goethe Finance Association So there are chances to grow and chances, as we said, to be energized with ideas, impressions, and career development opportunities. Any questions? Okay. So, here we have also the link to our wonderful Next Generation Forum. It will be open soon, I hope. Yes. So, here is the Next Generation Forum. We make our advertisement. And last but not least, I will show you something. Let me see here. Schmidt from yesterday. Here we are. And here's the agenda. I think you can see. Here's the agenda. So we are in the okay. Here's the agenda from today. It is the interactive day. So, and for all of you, an idea for your university, an idea maybe for your career development. If you come back to your university, you can tell them that you have brought an idea from Frankfurt University. We have thought and we have tried to be creative and innovative in our Goethe Finance Association. This is a task of you in the future as the leaders. Be innovative, be creative, thinking about the trends you see in the market. This is leadership. So you lead the path to go. And we have thought in our teams what we can do in the future. And then we had an idea. Every student, I think a lot of them has a smartphone, a lot of them has an iPhone or another handy or something, and they use it every day, every night, and they make your SMS. And then we have thought, okay, we make an app. Fun? Bit fun? Yes. And here we have an app, the GFA app. This is another app. I'm not the University of Mannheim, I'm a degree at the University of Mannheim, I know, but this is not this app. This is the only app in Germany. We have the Goethe Finance Association app. I have had hundreds of emails with Cupertino to have this app on the App Store and on the Google Play, on the Android market. So, if you have an iPhone or you have another one, you can go to the app and then you have it here. So, then you have all the jobs and all the events 24 hours, 7 days a week. So you can in the night, maybe you see, oh, there's a very interesting offer for me, and you can make your action or you can apply. So these are supporting and these are tools if you want to go forward with your company and if you want to lead your company successfully. Let us move back to our what I want to discuss with you is to become a leader. Has anybody of you attended an assessment center? And you had good experience with the assessment center? Yeah. Good experience? Yeah. Okay, and you?
It's intense.
Pardon?
It's intense.
Okay. Other ideas, other contributions? How have you prepared to the assessment center? And what do you think are the most important elements of an assessment center for the evaluation?
You
Who has, let me first another question. Who has made no assessment center? Okay. So what are you thinking are the most important tool in the assessment center to see your potential in leadership? Any ideas?
Correction, they don't see your potential as a leader, they see your potential as a team candidate for a particular position. So they, instead of leadership qualities, especially during the group exercise, they look for qualities to be able to influence others, because at the beginning you're not going to be leading teams, at the beginning you're going to be influencing peers to be perhaps collaborators or projects to do. So it depends on the sort of concept. But for me, the most important thing for my assessment centers is to prepare thoroughly research a company and background as well, be the department, for example, M&A research, the deals they've done, you research the rankings, how we see the goods, and just have good basis on what's happening in terms of current affairs, and get back on everything you say. For example, I'm interested in natural resources, that's why something happening recently in the sector of your interest. So you have to research everything research.
Very cool. Okay, and also give thought to what will be expected from you, also in terms of if you have any discussion, or if you have face-to-face communications there, or I don't know, some evaluations or feedback, and always try to be very attentive and also look what's happening around you. I think within while you at the assessment center.
Other questions?
I think the most important part is still the interviews, where at the assessment centre you usually have some sort of group activities as well, where you can stand out, but you won't get hired just because of that, whereas you get to actually speak to someone and sell yourself to the interview. That's the best part.
In the group work during the assessments, it's very important to show to, first of all, to the other teammates that you're capable of organizing the work you have to do. I did one in JP Morgan, and actually, when I was taken up, I managed to enter, and they told me that they chose me and not someone else, because I was one of the members of the team who tried to organize the others without trying to overtalk or over speak. I mean, were other candidates who just wanted to show themselves and show that they were cool, that they were capable of talking for 20 minutes without letting the others express themselves, and they were not evaluating that. They were evaluating the skill to organize in an efficient way and without a waste of time, for example.
I just have one question to that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I've been told, is either for a group discussion, either the entire group passes or fails.
Yeah.
So if some people are not involved in the discussion, the entire group fails, or that's as far as I'm.
It's not a question of failing or succeeding in a group exercise. Basically, you have a person, like a HR person, that looks after the team members, and they just literally look how you work well in the team, how you interact, ideas, whether you can compromise. Compromise is a very big thing. Like, you're going to disagree with the group, that's what happens. But as long as you can handle conflict well, and for my Paralympic Assessment Center, one of the exercises we got was a very simple exercise. We're on this corporate social responsibility committee. Each one of us was given a different role. There was 4 people in the group. So for example, I was marketing, other person's HR, third person's finance. And we had 1 million. We had to decide between 3 different projects to invest in. One project was tackling diversity, the other one sustainability issues. So the projects were outlined, the budget outlined how much it cost, and we had to play the role, for example, HR person. The whole exercise was how well we can have our position across, and how well we can compromise but still get our outcome. So that was literally a test of soft skills. It's not the whole group fails or loses.
This is what they tell you at the very beginning, but it's more to scare you, to put you under pressure, actually.
You said like different things. I have participated in two assessment centers in the same organization. The first one was to get in the organization in general, and in that case, just a very good research is like domestic. And the second assessment center was to get to become a leader in this organization, and it was different because we were like. I think we were 8 people applying for leaders in different functional areas. And they were checking how we work in a team, which area is the best for us. So it's not only about working in a team, but what behavior do you show? Are you like are you reaching for the time? Or you're trying to calm people down? Or you're like giving ideas? So it depends what exactly is the assessment center and what is expected from you to show, and what do you want to get after that assessment center, and what's your motivation? Because if you don't have the right motivation there to say, it doesn't work, because you need another motivation, not just to be a leader, but to want to lead and to contribute to the organization.
Any more contributions? So, we have a lot of different types of assessment centers, and the very important characteristic of the assessment centers, the role plays, the group discussion, assessment, and the self-presentation. And with the self-presentation, they want to evaluate your potential, because assessment centers are not only in the beginning of an entry in a company. Assessment centers are permanent. For example, you have management audits in the company. This is also an assessment center. You have evaluation assessment centers. You have potential assessment centers. So you have a lot of types of assessment centers to give a look on your potential, maybe in 3 or 4 or 5 years, to have the first leadership position, not CEO, of course, but in a department or in a group or something. This is the goal of the first assessment center, to see, can we integrate you in the future in 3 years on a vacancy we know today. All the companies have their HR plannings, and they know in 3 or 4 years we need a person exactly in this function. So the assessment center is potential evaluation. If you should, anybody here, give a tip, a recommendation to the people who haven't attended an assessment center, what is your proposal? Yes. Oh, no, please. Can you come? Please, can you come? Please. Okay. So, what's your name? Catherine. Okay, Catherine. We are today in an assessment center. Please give us a recommendation for 2 questions. The first question is, for example, you are a CEO and you have to close your branch. What are your thoughts and what do you say to your thoughts? Please.
Can you tell us when to close this branch? Have I decided this?
No more please, it's your auditorium. All are assessors.
The Inquisition, what the show.
2 minutes, please.
So, as you probably know, the company has had quite negative performance so far, and our shareholders, quite frankly, not very happy about that. We have identified a certain cause for this bad performance, and it's coming from one particular branch in the southeast, which is making remarkable losses. Year-over-year losses have been totaling about 900 million. It is come to our restructuring of the branch will not work because the cost savings we generate from restructuring are not going to be sufficient enough to offset the losses. Therefore, unfortunately, we have to close the branch. Nevertheless, we have taken into consideration all of our employees, and we are going to make an assessment center for them in order to reassess their skills and where they will perhaps fit in other places of the organization. Therefore, make the most of our resources.
Thank you. First of all, it was great. It was great, but you have, because it was great, because of one thing in your presentation. And this is a very important thing in your presentation. All the assessment center assessors are looking how do you structure your decision? How do you structure your decision? And how do you explain the decision? You can make a decision, we make it like this or that, and this is wrong. Better is, and you have done it, and so far it was very interesting, you have explained your decision and you had made a proposal. You had made a proposal and this was very clever. We make an assessment center for you all in the future. So the people have a future. If you close a branch, they have no future, they go into the street or the job market or something. So you have to give them a proposal for behavior and an attitude and an opportunity in the future. And so this is a tip for going to the assessment centers and being successful in the assessment centers. They will ask you difficult questions. Anybody who hasn't made an assessment center will see it in the future. They will ask you difficult questions. They will stress you with questions. For example, they will ask you, what are your greatest failures or what is your weakness or something else. They try to stress you with questions. So explain your answer or your decision or what you say and be cool. Keep cool and friendly in a stress situation, because this is something you have in the future with leadership. Maybe you have a lot of difficult colleagues or co-workers or peers, so keep cool and explain your decisions and make a structure of your decision and explain how do you come to your decision. Maybe you can make a decision matrix or something you can explain. This is very important for the people to see it in an assessment center. The assessors want to evaluate and want to prove it. And you can ask counter questions. This is also a tool to reduce the high error in an assessment center. Please.
At the second assessment center, it was on a table with all the people, and on the table there they had put another table just to see how we will react on this. And we organized one assessment center to get new people to the organization. And among the people, among the students applying, there was an alumni of our organization talking on his phone during the assessment center, just talking some stupid things during the assessment center, just to check how people will react to this. So you can expect everything.
Okay. Some other contributions? So, in the next part of our workshop, I want to build some groups. And I give you tasks. So, you have about 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 19, 22, 25, 28, 31, 33. Perfect. You are with us Yeah? Yeah. Okay, 35. Okay, 35 means 11, 12, 12. So, 11, 3, 6, 9, 11, first group. 11, next group, 3, 6, 8, 11. Next group, last group with you. Okay, so I want to give you some questions, and please, you can prepare these questions, and then I want to discuss your answers and your results here in the table. So, the first group is group 1. Your question for group 1, first group. The first question will be, are women better leaders? Are women better leaders? Please, put your heads together, you can go outside. Take some paper, and I want to see some results. I want to see some results, you can go outside, and the last group stays in the room. Okay? So, please go outside. Okay. And about 30 minutes, then we are here back again. 30 minutes. The second group, I want to ask generalist versus specialist. Who has the better chances on the top? Please go outside. Yes, generalist versus specialist. Who has the better chances on the top of the company? Second question. So, and the third question will be, how to develop strong enterprise leaders. And the question is, and please write it, at the time of their first enterprise level promotion, please or place new enterprise leaders in units that are. This is your task. I repeat it. The main topic is how to develop strong enterprise leaders. And the question is a half of a question, and you have fulfilled the question with your ideas. At the time of their first enterprise level promotion, future leaders, place new enterprise leaders in units that are what? Please, it's your task. Please. You have not understand that question? Oh, yeah, I did. You haven't understand? Okay. Yeah. Perfect. But which kind of groups you are? Yes, which kind of units do you think for first placement?
What is a level 1 enterprise promotion?
At the time of their first enterprise level promotion.
And what is enterprise?
Enterprise level. Okay, you have understand all? Yeah. Perfect. If you have any question, please let me know at the moment, but then it's no answer for you. Any question? You have understand the question? You have understand?
I hope so.
4 o'clock. Okay, so we are going into a presentation of the results of the group number 1. You have a presentator or you have a team of presentators. Okay, you have a team. Please, the team, come here on this place. You have now 5 minutes to present your results, and then we have another additional 5 minutes to have a discussion in the forum. So, group number 1, please, your results.
Well, hence we've just heard that it's important to structure our decision, to explain our decision, and to give perspective about the future. We've been thinking about exactly that. First of all, problem awareness is decisive. The question whether skills or gender is important, whether we want to tie in a debate of how things are supposed to be, and I'm sure you can join.
So basically, we've been having a hot discussion about this. I'm personally very passionate about this, and a couple of the team members were really passionate about this subject. And we came to the conclusion of 5 statements. 1, there is a definite gender inequality in probably every single country and probably every single company. 2, women are different leaders. Maybe it's because of our brain structures, the way we're raised. I don't really know. There's a lot of research about it. You can go home and read about it. 3, we need to change the attitudes of women and men to reach a more gender equal company or country or whatever. And the way we can do that is, we discussed that a lot, is basically just empowering women, empowering the fact that girls can make it, empowering parents probably to raise their kids in a different way. You know how girls sometimes can be like, oh, don't be too competitive, your brother's always going to be a bit better than you, you know what I mean? So definitely, when you raise your children in a couple of years, no, I don't want to see anything like that, promise me. So raise your children in as equal way as you can, because they will grow up and they will become the next generation. 4, women have to embrace and retain their femininity in their leadership styles, because we have seen, and actually someone in the team gave an example of yesterday, that some women were acting a bit like a man, and that's actually true. In a lot of female leaders tend to act like a man just because they think that would give them respect in the leadership style. No, embrace your femininity and basically just be a woman, be proud of it. Don't try to act or talk like a man or dress like a man. Be a woman and be proud of that. 4. 5 is actually a question to you, and it's quite interesting. It would be interesting to see what you think. So are men better leaders than women? The question that we got is, are women better leaders than men? Because that's kind of the minority, that's kind of what we're interested in. But if we turn around the question, we thought, or we think that it's easier to answer that question, that men are better leaders than women, rather than are women better leaders than men. So what do you guys think? Yes?
Yeah, I don't think you can obviously say that men would be better than women, but definitely for men it's easier to become a better leader because you have sort of the way culture is, where it's in the past anyway, far more men become leaders, so it's more expected. So it's easier, I guess, but not necessarily to be better.
So you're saying that society somehow is expecting you as a man to have an easier path to become a leader because that's in your masculinity or whatever, the gender. Yes? You?
I think it's sort of difficult to measure or to compare whether someone is a good leader, especially then if it was a female leader or a male leader, and then compare them who was the better leader. I think that is very, very difficult. But I can think of good examples of strong women leaders. For example, I think it was the CEO of Facebook, for example. Like, she is a really good leader, and she might do a better job than a man in that position. But I don't know, because there's no comparison really.
I think we came down to the fact that leader is a neutral neutral word, and you could be a woman or a man and not fulfill the things a leader requires. So we have to go away from leader necessarily being a man or a woman to a neutral thing, and you either have the skills or you don't have the skills. And and we need to make decisions. We have to make single decisions in each and every case. Who is more capable, the woman or the man? But we clearly shouldn't introduce a quota system which would deprive the man or the woman with better skills of the respective position.
So I'll just talk about the quota system for a bit. So in the UK at least, there have been a hot topic about whether companies should be forced to have 40% of women in the board systems. And Norway has it. I think there are not that many countries that are actually for that. A lot of countries think that it should be about the person, whether the gender, which I agree with. So a bit about the quota system, yes.
Yeah, but just getting back to your point before, you said leadership is something that's not attached to gender. That's something I would fully agree with. But if you set a quota that, for example, 50% of the board must be female, then you attach leadership to gender. And someone might be chosen to become a leader, not because of his skills, but just because of his or her gender, which would be just contradictory to what you just said.
So a liberal point of view would say that we are against that, we don't think that we should have a quota system. That would actually be discriminating the man, right? To kind of say, no, we are not choosing you for this position because we need women, right? That would be gender discrimination towards men, because that's also possible, right? We can't forget that.
And I may add that we have to make this decision. Do we want to have a top-down or a bottom-up way of implementing? Top-down would be the quota. The lawmaker requires you to have 50 or 40% in your company women. The bottom-up would be changing the culture, enabling women to actually fulfill what they're able to do. Now, still some would argue, and this is part of our problem awareness, that we still have a gap. No matter how much we try to change culture, we still need to introduce the law that's forcing companies.
So as you can see here, we're having a radical perspective, quite conservative perspective on this topic, and a quite liberal perspective as well. So I just want to say that's quite interesting what you're seeing right now.
So just quickly interject, I think it's not a question of either top-down or bottom-up. I think it's a question of compromise. Maybe something in the range of a law on quota I disagree with, but some kind of an incentive that comes from the government in order for women to get in the workplace, and that companies can take advantage of that. With slight top-down approach, yes, but then it has to be bottom-up as well, so it has to be a compromise in the middle.
I don't have to change anything about the law.
Fair enough.
Maybe also in terms of building up structures, and also not infrastructure in general, but also the perception of enable women to really become a leader, not within the company, but for instance also build up flexible systems for children education while women are tied up with their leadership within a company, for instance, and also make or try to introduce well-working systems that actually balance family life and working life, especially also for women, because in some extent women often have the role within the family of having like the entire accountability for family life, and also that everything works. So you should, or you have to enable women that they can also detach from this very, very big responsibility and also focus on the business or on their career path. So this is what I would also suggest in addition to that.
I have a question. This is for all the women in the room. So what would you say, is it more difficult to get to a leadership position, or is it more difficult to actually get into a company? I mean,
I would say what research has shown is that female are struggling more to get to a higher position, and it's called the glass ceiling by culture, I think. Yeah, so yeah, there's research about showing that there is actually.
that is
So that's that's more difficult for women to become leaders rather than getting a foot into the company.
Actually, I just want to put in to respond to your question. We already have a statistical data that shows that even women, the biggest CEOs or in the top position, even if they perform it better than men, you can see in the salary, in the paycheck, they receive less than men. And it is a huge difference. So as already was told here, it's about social construction, because society has this view that men are the leaders, men are the ones who have the natural rights to be in the top position. So for women, we have to struggle more to reach this top position, and because actually I think we have more responsibilities than men in society in general, because women usually are mothers. They don't have only the professional responsibilities, but they have all the household responsibilities. So it's like, so my conclusion, my personal conclusion, I think women are better leaders because we have this capacity, these skills to perform better in different ranges. Like already there are studies that show that men can do like 2 tasks at the same time efficiently. So women can do this.
So we have to stop here. Thank you very much. The group number 2, save 5 minutes for presentation and another 5 minutes for the discussion. You are team in presentation or you are the presenter?
I was for the team.
Okay.
Okay, so the point of our discussion. The question is generalist versus a specialist. In a company, who has the better chance at the top of the company to succeed? So basically, let's begin with the definition of generalist and specialist, just to understand. A generalist is someone who knows the basic of each functional division of the company. Knows a little bit about marketing, about the product, about the technology, about finance. Is a typical MBA profile, okay? Then there is the specialist. The specialist is someone who has deep experience in one field. For example, is the technology guru in Facebook, is the marketing man in Procter & Gamble. And having said that, just to see if there is a consensus, if you had to choose black or white, hands up for who thinks that a CEO should be a specialist and not a generalist. Okay, okay. So all the other think that a CEO should be a generalist, right? So this is okay. This is actually the same conclusion we have reached, and now we're going to explain to you why we think so. First of all, a CEO in a company, we think that he should have a broad vision of the company and should have a basic knowledge of each function. Just because, first of all, the CEO is responsible for everything that happens in the company. So if there is a problem in the marketing function, in the product function, and his CMO, CTO, or whoever is not capable of fixing it, the CEO at least has to know something about the division in order to fix the problem, even just to find another person. So let's say that a broad knowledge of each division helps the management taking strategic decisions. Then it's important for a CEO to be capable to zoom in and zoom out of the company, whatever the problem is. So let's say that, for example, there is an opportunity, a new opportunity in a specific division. The CEO must be capable of understanding how this opportunity can be exploited, and if he does not have at least a basic knowledge of that function, maybe he could be not capable of exploiting that that particular opportunity. Then, of course, this is just we cannot say that a generalist is a better CEO than a specialist, but of course the final conclusion is not black or white. There is something in the middle. So what we do believe is that the higher you are into a company, the more important what we have said till now is, the more true what we have said till now it is. So for a CEO, it is more important to be a generalist because he has to be capable of solving every kind of problem in the company, and he is responsible of everything that is happening. But if we go a little bit lower, for example, at the CMO or the CTO or this chief financial officer of a company, this does change. Because, of course, if you are in charge of the financial division of a company, of course you must know the business of the company you're working on, but you must have a deep knowledge of what you are working on. You must have a good knowledge of the financial market if your company is listed. You have to know how to raise debt, how to raise equity. You must understand how to optimize your capital structure. And the same thing applies, for example, for a CTO. A CTO must know the technologies. For example, if we are talking about a web company, the CTO must know exactly all the programming languages which are used into the company, must know how to organize a team of developers, and so basically our main conclusion, and of course if you have questions or suggestions, it's an open matter, is that the higher you go into a company, the more important generalistic skills become. Then another question we try to answer to is which is the best thing you can do when you enter into a company? Is it better to be a generalist or a specialist? In this case, we think that it could be both. It really depends on the industry, and you can be a specialist and then acquire generalist skills, but you also can be a generalist and then acquire specific knowledge of a core industry. So this is our position.
Okay, thank you very much. Now the discussion in the auditorium, additional 5 minutes.
Specialist.
I'm going to be the advocate for the specialist. Reason being, I think you make it big in the company because you're a specialist, not because you're a generalist. Generalist, you need to acquire those sets of skills eventually at one point when you're, when you're the big decision maker. But to make your way through the company, you need to be a specialist. You're sitting at your desk, right? Somebody calls you up, asks you specifically about something technical, something related to your job, and you don't know that because you're a generalist. Your credibility goes down, right?
Maybe because we all worked on the questions together. Maybe you can also chip in here because this is a very good argument that you present. And we were also thinking about, okay, if you enter a company as a specialist or either a generalist, no matter what. And the thing is, becoming a generalist can be a process. So it's your development within the company. You enter as a specialist, you work your way up, you are maybe a project leader in a very, very sophisticated and very valuable research and development project within a company, but you gain, while you're in the company, you gain additional expertise, which is rather generalistic point. So this is how you develop to a generalist. And as you move up, generalistic skills and also a generalistic, holistic view of the company is probably, in our term or in our conclusion, more important than only one specialist view. And this is why you are the better CEO.
I mean, it depends. Then again, it depends on your position in the company. There is no black and white answer. That's the problem.
In fact, the main question was at the highest level. No,
so black and white, you cannot see this is better.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about the time, it's about the position, and according to that, and for a CEO, he has to be both. I mean, first of all, because he got there because he was a specialist, not because he was a generalist. Now he has to be a generalist.
No, that's what we said. He still is a specialist, but gained generalistic skills. So he's actually a two-sided person, but not in a negative way. No, yes, not in a negative way. But he still is a specialist. I mean, even though he becomes more generalistically influenced, he's not going to forget about his specialist knowledge. Okay.
So let's just look at the very top of the company, the CEO. No matter how he got there, that is another question. Is it better to be a CEO, a generalistic CEO, or a specialist CEO? Our answer is generalistic. Of course, this is an open matter. It's not. Of course, then if you analyze the process to go to the top, maybe you are absolutely right, and that is why we said that you can enter into a company there as a specialist or as a generalist. But maybe in some particular industries, for example, in, I don't know, mechanical engineer is absolutely as you say. You cannot get to the top of a mechanical engineer company without being a specialist in at least, mechanical engineer.
True story.
So
no, I know.
The conclusion would be
1 minute.
okay, give it okay, I'm done.
1 minute.
So, okay, that's I can't. No, not really. That's wrong. But no, I think it would depend. Then again, you can't really just label it that way. But then again, as a CEO, I think even if he's a generalist, for example, his major contribution would be his specialty, no matter what. Yeah, you gotta know what's going on, in every department. But then again, I think his major contribution would be as a specialist. The CEO is not going to solve problems of marketing. He's going to make decisions for marketing.
If you are a generalist, of course, you still have to know very well your core industry. I mean, you cannot be a generalist and know a little bit of everything. You must know very well your core industry. But a specialist means that a CEO must be hands-on people, not hands-in to things. So, yeah, no, I mean, hands-in is I go and I do directly the thing, so I must be a specialist, for example, of the technology, because it's me that is designing the product and is making the project, and hands-on is, okay, I know the core industry very well, of course, otherwise I wouldn't be the CEO, and, but at the same time, I have some skills everywhere, so.
Okay, stop here. Thank you very much. Number 3, please. The same presentation, 5 minutes. Also 5 minutes.
Nicolas and I, Mathieu, will present you for the third group with quite an interesting question. Actually, it took us about, I think, 10 minutes before we actually got what the question meant. So, to start the presentation, we will first guide you with the question, tell you about the assumptions, tell you about the underlying values. To start with the question, at what unit do you locate your future leader in his or her first enterprise promotion? There are several assumptions. First of all, unit. How do you define unit? Probably unit is different for every company. Some define unit as a country, some define unit as a factory, and some as marketing, for example. So it's unknown how you answer the question, what is a unit in this way? So we did. We tried to formulate a question which is applicable for all companies with units on all scales. Secondly, when is the first enterprise promotion? So is that in 1 year, in 3 years? Of course, it makes a huge difference. After 3 years, somebody might be capable of going abroad, going to a far country, and setting up a new enterprise there, or a new part of the company there, a new unit there, maybe. After 1 year, maybe not. So what we assume, the first promotion takes place within 1 to 3 years, which is important for the remainder of the answer. And thirdly, whom is a potential leader? Who is the leader? Is that somebody who can I don't know, stimulate people, or is it somebody who can move into the board position? So is it somebody from who you can expect, well, in 20 years, this guy or this girl, very important, can be a CEO? Well, we assume that somebody who can make it to the board, and so can become CEO, CFO, whatsoever. And he was will explain you like how it exactly looks like and how we actually answer the question.
Yeah, so as you said, our crew tried to design an enterprise program, management program, where we pretty much figure out who will be our next potential leader for the future. So, as he said, somebody gets a promotion, and then he gets into this project manager program. So this is the program. In this program, you divide your working time into 2 parts. One part is the guided projects part. So there, the company gives you a guided project where you have some real projects from the company that are really important for them. So that's 50% of your time. So the second part of your day, you try to think about your self-contribution. Try to think about how to improve the company and how you want to design the company you own. It doesn't matter if you want to design maybe a web page better, or if you want to design some processes in a different way, but it's just try to give some input from your new creative way of thinking in university. So after a while, 3 to 5 years, we will have the project started because there are many people in this project. And those people that pretty much emphasize other people to work on their own projects in their free time, those are, in our view, the next potential leaders. Because they emphasize people in the same level to do the same job. So we have a little problem. This is our potential future leader bubble where you can last in. Now, I want to ask you, how would you design the second bubble? Right over here. How would you call it? I mean, you can't call them normal workers or, I don't know, normalists. I don't know. So, would you be able to come up with a name for it? So right after that. Yeah.
Just a general question, because I think some people didn't understand that question.
The original question?
Yeah, the original one.
Okay, the original question was, okay, let's put it like this. You are working for our company. And now we need to find out who will be the next potential leader. Let's say my follower. I'm the CEO. Okay? Now we designed this project manager program where everybody goes from here to there. And there you split up your time. 50% of the time you do just normal project stuff for the company, and then 50% of the time you try to design your own project. You have to be creative, you have to be innovative to bring the company into a better position at the market. So at the end of the day, some of those projects will be realized, and you have to have other people working for you in order to realize it for real. So in the end, let's say you emphasize other people on your project, you will be, with this design, our next potential leader. And now the question from my side was, how would you call a bubble right over here? Not the next potential leader, because not everybody can be the next CEO. Yeah.
Raise a joke around long-term potential for leaders.
That's a good idea, maybe, yeah.
So perhaps they just need more time to become potential leaders.
Yeah.
What about project leaders?
Project manager, yeah.
You
Good idea.
got the idea of the project now being managed.
Well, see, our difficulty was, we know we have to share information. We just learned it yesterday, right? So, I mean, you have to give it an appropriate name. And anyway, everybody knows the guy that's getting this bubble, just one. Maybe that's a little weakness of our model or design, but yeah. this is what we came up with. And of course, through all of this process, lifelong learning and sharing information, feedback, always part of it.
We have 3 minutes left because we are in the discussion at the moment, so 3 minutes left for the discussion.
Any ideas or contributions or?
You mentioned on the left side is the winner model. Send your contribution for the right side.
You see, that's our problem. We didn't come up with
maybe there are some people who don't want to come with us.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
And then they just leave. sorry for putting the jobs. They are very important employees.
Yeah. Maybe we can name this less negatively and link this to the previous discussion about specialist and generalist. Because once you get into a leading position, most of your time you spend with administrative and strategic decisions. And if you're in the same unit or if you stay in the same department, you become more of a specialist. Maybe one could link those two discussions together. So we can say this is the left side is probably a generalist and right becomes a specialist.
Well, how about that part, naming it strategic manager or project manager? That sounds pretty, don't you agree? Yeah. Okay.
I don't really get why you're looking for a name which makes it sound nice. It doesn't change the reality. So, just a few manager positions, and we have definitely people who don't want to become leaders, and we have people where you're thinking of that they're not able to be a potential leader. So what's wrong with just employee or normal work?
I think that no need to label it actually. It doesn't solve any purpose. You've got leaders, and that's it. I mean, why would you want to give that another name? It doesn't help. What do you want to get recognized for? You're not a leader? That doesn't.
So I just said that I hate the word followers. I don't like the word leader and the word followers. And she said supporters.
Partners.
Strategic idea, right?
What about partners? Strategic partners?
Love that. I love it.
Maybe you should also identify the people beforehand if you try to put them through this program who actually wants to become a leader, because that's been said. And maybe one more word. You could also introduce a model of Ulrich. He's a specialist on strategic HRM, and he has identified 4 different roles also, which is also strategic partner, administrative expert, employee champion, and change agent. So you maybe have again a framework where you can identify very, very special characteristics of those people, which are at a certain point of time not the potential future leader yet, but maybe they are becoming. Sorry.
Yeah, but we only had 20 minutes time up.
Do you write something? First of all, now we close the workshop, leadership. I want to thank you very, very much for your empathetic, for your really great contributions and your motivated work together 2 days with us here. It was a really great pleasure. It was impressive for me, your contributions and your competence. And so I wish you all the best luck in the future for your personal development, for your career development, and for your luck in the life. And thank you very much for being here. And I have wrote down my email address, Trummer@finance.uni. frankfurt.de. If you have any questions or contributions or something, please give me an email. I will be happy about it. Thank you very much. And all the best.
Like a virtual list of participants? Is there a virtual list of participants?
Keep in touch, yeah, Facebook.
Yes. I think the next generation for the organization team, it would have the names. Mr. Frigate, President.
This specific workshop.
We should put up NGF alumni or something like that. Yeah. Next generation forum alumni. Yeah, exactly. We have to